starting to rig the mast. Smile. You're coming too. From Washington State to now sunny California, we've been at it for 5 years. It began with selling our previous boat and taking that money to buy tools and build a shed. We assembled keel pieces, poured the ballast, and raised all 16 frames in the first 6 months. There's a boat in there. Now, half a decade later, and at a slower but steady pace, we're in the water. We're Salt and Tar, and this is our life. Like, subscribe, and support if you can. Last time, we welded up our mast collar with Rolf. Garrett now carves a groove into the mast for the collar to sit comfortably. The collar's ready to paint. Our next focus is the 4 shrouds. We're using 3/8" galvanized wire and Nicro press fittings. We'll then worm, parcel, and serve the loops, then soup the serving, and leather wrap, all to prevent chafe. Too bad it wasn't until the second one we realized leather wrapping was easier before we crimped the Nicro presses.
Things first, let's actually roll the mast over.
All right.
If this is the size we decide, then I just need to mark this, take these off, and then we need to stretch this out, and I need to serve this whole area, press these on permanently, and then we can slip it over, and then we can set our rig out on the end there to know where to cut it. And that's what we'll do for all 4.
All right, pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
So, besides the shrouds, what else do we have to do before we can step the mast?
Well, we need to paint this a lot. So we'll put quite a few coats of paint on here. Need to throw a coat of oil on here, but I just kind of carved out on both sides a little groove for this to rest into. So we'll get this on, and I think I'm just gonna take my router and cut a 45 into this hole, just the whole thing, so it's not as hard of an edge here.
I got it.
Next thing, probably like right here, you're gonna put one of those eye bolts through. So 3/4 inch eye bolt goes through here, and that'll hold the on the back side of the mast, that'll hold the throat halyard for the main, and then that'll hold the inner forestay. And then Other than that, just hang some blocks and halyards, and that's it. Then we can put it up.
And then just a few things to do on the boat physically?
Yeah, I just gotta cut the hole where the mast goes, and then just cut out some like a wooden ring, probably just out of two pieces together, 2 pieces of like 2x, and then cut the half ring on both sides, and then put those down where the mast hole is, and then that'll be a little rim around it, and that's where the canvas boot that goes from the where the mast goes through the deck, the boot will kind of go down around that and be cinched up.
And that's what keeps water from coming in?
Yeah.
Our mast is keel stepped, which means it goes through the deck, through a big block for our mast partners, and sits on top of the keel on the mast step. We've got a coin under here, and it happens to be our salt and tar coin. It's tradition to put a coin under the mast for good luck, and how cool that we've got our very own salt and tar coin, thanks to SB Seeker. We only need one, but Captain Overkill chose 2. First step to serving is worming, which might be the most time-consuming.
One.
Because you have to do it 6 times to look like this. It's mainly to fill the gaps between the strands. Then parceling, which is like a tar tape and is part of the weatherproofing.
Beautiful.
Why don't you just take this part with one of your things? Here, I got it. Let's see, struggle.
You and your
And it drives me nuts.
Just tape it like right
There?
there. Yeah. And then I'll just cut the rest off.
Just hold it in place.
Yeah.
You don't have to cut it right now.
Again with your logic.
Garrett was in go mode, which makes him extremely stubborn, but eventually convinced him to string up the Shroud. Alright, take 2. We now have it under tension. And we've got the rigging mallet out. We should have timed how much it took you to do that little bit. That was like, what was that, 4 inches, 6 inches maybe?
I don't want to talk about it.
That's more than 4 inches. So do you wrap it around the handle to increase the tension? Or?
Yeah, and you can put more wraps or less wraps if you want more or less tension.
That seem to be working now?
Yeah, that's working.
Nice.
The ratchet just a bit tighter.
I don't know if it'll take it from here. Oh yeah, it'll.
As my 6th grade teacher once told me, work smarter, not harder. Although it's only a few feet, it's worth it. Stringing up the Shroud and putting it under tension, we can now use the serving mallet.
So what are you doing now?
So now I'm gonna finish it and I'll leave it open so I can, once I get to the end, I can pass the strand back through it and then kind of bury
I
it.
see, you're going to pull it in, yeah.
I'm going pretty deep.
Yeah. unnecessary. But I'm already doing it, so I'm not gonna stop. But right there. Thank you. Wrap it too tight. Look at that.
Alright, ingenuity. So what did you do? You just looped it around, got your marlin spike
Yeah, I just put a little hole in it.
Nice.
Perfect.
And then put all your weight. Look at that.
Look at that. That's not going to slip out.
Nope.
How easy was that?
Now the safety factor.
Well, it's probably going to make it tighter.
It's definitely gonna make it tighter. Yep, that's a pass.
Day one always takes the longest, as you're figuring out the kinks. Our first Shroud's not winning any beauty contest, but it's strong. Nice and easy. You want me to slap some soup on it, or is that going to be like when we're done for the day? Since we'll be fitting
yeah,
the
when
loops.
we're done for the day. Nice. That'll help. Yeah, it's a perfect angle.
Nice. This is where we have to cut our first shroud to length.
Just a little bit more. There. Oh, a little bit more. Good. Okay, good enough.
Classy.
Forward chain plates are 16 inches. Forward, give or take, of this position.
This represents the height of the bulwarks, roughly the length of the shroud.
We've got this laid out. This will tell us about where the bulwarks are, the cap rail. We know the dead eyes are going to be somewhere above the bulwarks. And so if we can get that point, then we can add whatever extra for our dead eyes to wrap around those. And then another extra whatever for slop.
How accurate does it have to be right now, or we just kind of leave it a little bit
Not
long?
accurate. It's going to be left really quite a bit longer than it needs to be.
Okay.
And then we'll trim off the excess later.
Okay.
it back further because I need to measure. Help keep the wires in
Together.
control when I cut it. Okay. Now, let's see if these big old can cut through this stuff.
Do you need a hand?
Nope. Ready?
Ready. Whoa.
Bam. Shroud number 1. Yeah, well now we'll do port aft.
Number 2.
Alright, Ruth, make sure you don't start doing it backwards this time. There it is. Alright, another one down. Have any idea what I'm doing at this point. I'm just kind of guessing. Yeah, still not adjusted enough. I'll fiddle with that later. There we go.
Still better with the
Oh
with the
yeah,
hand.
much better with the hand one. Swab, where are you going? Get back here.
You're gonna see how hard it is with just doing that one straight.
Yeah. Can you hold the loop?
You're gonna have some moonlight to work with tonight.
Yeah. Well, all day, one.
There you go. One step at a time.
Yeah.
Get there.
I'm tired. But that looks really good.
Up next, we finish our shrouds. There it is. Cut another hole in the boat. And put on our fancy shoes while we wait out a windstorm. Thanks for watching.
When you're filming, you always have the sound on.
Fire is hot.
Oh, the sound's always like it's always logging it, but yeah. I do a lot of that. Your beard is sparkling in this sunlight.
Is that like magnificent and majestic? She has to edit around me a lot.
You know, sailors. And potty mouths.
I built my first boat when I was 13. It wasn't pretty. And it was self-designed. I call it Old Ironsides because it was super slab-sided.
And you know how many other 13-year-olds that build a boat?
I just didn't know many other 13-year-olds because I was a loner.